aggressive and more stable in the early game for their side.
What do you think about this, Leo? I mean, early game here of the Benedetta coming in from Bren's side and the Yi Shinshin as well from RRQ Hoshi. Is this going to skew themselves to, again, these big playmakers like Selena that just got banned?
Yeah, I think I'll agree because the draft itself, the first bans, will also support that that theory, that hypothesis, if you will, is because a lot of Bren's wins, they snowball. A lot of Bren's wins, they just start strong, hit the ground running, and that's essentially what these two draft bans, Yusunshin and Selena, will say. And for Bren Esports, what they can do here is just respect what the current meta dictates and then roll with the punches, given that they are on the red side. Brody taken out.
Just to recall some of the matches that RRQ Hoshi has gone through, remember that there was the longest game as well as the shortest game being achieved by the team itself. They definitely have interesting dynamics, but like what was being pulled up, we're talking about that early game scuffle for that first turtle. This is some department that, of course, RRQ Hoshi is already intending to work on, especially when their goal is to actually set up for the late game. So definitely Bren Esports can look to punish them with those sort of picks, but we've already got all these bans coming in. What are your thoughts, Gideon?
I'm thinking... Okay, so here's what's on the table. Matilda's on the table, Jawhead's on the table, both really strong first picks for either side. And since Benedetta isn't there, I would lean towards one of the two. But we've seen this change up quite a number of times, right, Butters?
Yeah, RRQ Hoshi, they're just one team that I'm actually surprised that they banned out the Selena first. Because usually for the other teams, they just go for these certain templated bans for the tournament meta. Matilda will be their first pick, while for the side of Bren Esports, they just go straight for the Yuzhong.
Oh, and
Yeah.
and
And I like this because they're giving priority to Lusty. Just because you are giving priority to Lusty, he isn't forced to pick something weird or something that is not going to be the best or something that is heavily countered on the side of RRQ Hoshi.
What else this draft says is that Bren Esports are still reading what RRQ Hoshi is doing, right? By picking up the Yuzhong on Flaptizi, you're playing a safe hero, and then also by picking the Sylvana already, you're still opening up the fact that this might be for few, this might also be for Lusty. Lapu-Lapu and Claude picked up by RRQ Hoshi. Nothing too crazy just yet. James is still sticking to what the metagame dictates is right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this sort of pick coming in towards phase 1 here, which is relatively safe for RRQ Hoshi. But diving in towards phase 2, of course, they've already got their hands on Lancelot for the side of Bren Esports, which is what we have seen what they could do back in towards that match against Alter Ego.
I actually think that Bren Esports is not even trying to read into what RRQ Hoshi wants to do. It's just that they are successful in these heroes. Like Wolf said earlier, they don't have a huge hero pool of heroes that they win with.
I mean,
These are just heroes that they want to play and they're comfortable with this. RRQ Hoshi, no matter what they bring out, this is going to be the setup for Bren Esports that's gonna work.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Well, it is, and knowing Bren Esports, we just have to accept the fact that they need to be a little bit more creative in terms of this. But for this Lancelot, this Yuzhong, this Sylvana, they're safe with this.
Yeah, and now coming into the second phase, they're going to get rid of the Loyi as well as the Harith here. Both very important wave clearers, and more importantly, especially for RRQ's Hoshi's side, yes, they do have Matilda for that magic damage, but they're not going to have too much lane priority, which I think even Bren realizes, all right, we don't want our side lanes to get punished because we have seen, you know, things like Harith show up into the side lane, things like Lunox and Farsa show up into the side lane as well.
I definitely think the both heroes that you mentioned is going to be pretty much contributing to a very big factor, but they got to find a way to answer this Lancelot, which nobody has been able to stop Kaltizi at it, and works all the lockdowns that we need. Like, the Circling Eagle is definitely not going to be enough, and with that, we definitely see the Cho being axed off just to make sure that nobody catches him with the Way of the Dragon.
I like the Cho pick just because it's the only available. It's one of the options here for RRQ Hoshi to just lock down that Lance. I actually agree with Contra. Just looking at how the first three picks here for the side of RRQ Hoshi is set. They do not have an answer for the Lancelot as of now.
Draw is not enough?
Jawhead is telegraphed. Like,
I mean,
you
it's,
see,
it's a choice that's left. There's,
yeah,
there's no hero for Psycho.
there is, but having that certain unstoppable force ejector, you can see it coming from a mile away.
Well, you have the combo, you have the Circling Eagle, and yeah, Bren Esports, they're not even shy about it. This is definitely going to be Doc Ribo's Alice from the gold lane. I wonder what Wiz King is thinking, because this Claude can still be a sneaky gold laner.
Yeah, it still can. It's pretty flexible in that sense, and I think, even Bren now picking up the Alice as well as the Yuzong, they realize no matter what we pick at this point, even if we do get the 1-1, it's a little too late, and if we want to dominate the lane, it might not necessarily work out anyway, so you might as well get a relatively safe laner, and if RRQ decide to go for a double marksman composition, that's even better for us with our Assassin, on top of the fact that we have some great pick potential and some really powerful scaling for that late game.
Sin and Vin, they're like brothers, and they rhyme. Their names rhyme.
Same goes to Kaltizi as well as Flaptizi.
Yeah.
Right? So
It's a connection. It's a combination.
yeah.
All
and
right.
Interesting enough, they bring in the Kai again. This is something that was being introduced back in their best of 5 against Burmese Goals, but here comes Lunox, which wasn't banned away. So there's a lot of damage output coming in from both, the AD side of things as well as the Magic. Wow, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Bren Esports.
It's going to be tough for Psycho to lock people down, but when he does, boy, is it sweet.
I suppose, I definitely suppose here, but I think RRQ, they've got a much stronger early game in comparison to Bren. So as long as Bren, they basically want to play the early game a little bit more passive, just focus on clearing the waves and focus on, if they have to give up certain things on the invade, they just kind of have to here. They don't have a choice, and the Tilda is really going to be a problem for that. But at level 4, Bren's going to have a huge swing into their favor because they're very ultimate dependent.
Yeah, I like Bren Esports draft as well, but you really have to give props to that Akai pick from the side of RRQ Hoshi. You might not have the catch, that solo single target catch, but you can destroy or you can cancel his combination. And that is the thing for the Lancelot. Just don't let him burst down people.
Well, I think it is time to get into the game. This is game 1. Let's roll into the land of Dawn for our semifinals matchup at M2. Boys, take it away.
Well, of course, all eyes is going to be on Sin, as he will be the one that will be taking over Alpha C. But just look at Few already getting his health taken down low.
Not even going to be polite about it, just you come into our range, we will knock you down a peg. Few already less than half health, not even a minute into the game. Looking at the lanes, it's R7 on the Lapu-Lapu facing off against Ribo in the gold lane. Up top, it's Flaptizi versus Wiz King, so there's a little switcheroo being showed here by RRQ Hoshi. Again, you're never really sure what James is thinking.
Now, onto the middle lane, this is a normal matchup. Few knows that he will get harassed a lot here as long as he doesn't have his level 4. And as you can see, the damage output in the Matilda is just way too high. But it's okay because Few is the one getting damage, not Kaltizi.
Yeah, of course, we do see Kaltizi, though, trying to actually go for the Little Wanderer here. And Imole backs away, understanding that Sin as well as Vin, they could actually pull off some significant damages now that he does have the double buff as well. So a little bit of push and shove coming from both ends. Bren Esports, they cannot force any issue.
Yep, as Gideon said, Brenny's just waiting for the level 4, and that's when they go ahead and put it into high gear. That's when things get to start, and that's when it becomes more interesting. Right now, Turtle is coming up about 10 seconds from now in the top lane. This is Wiz King and Vin waiting to find someone, catching them off guard, and now Kaltizi just clearing the wave alongside the rest of these mid laners, preparing for the first turtle take.
Yeah, speaking of which, we can definitely see that RQ is in the prime position to be able to get that challenge in. And for Lusty, he's keeping an eye out, and here comes Psycho.
Lusty is using the brush as well, but RRQ, they are going for the Lord next, and this is going to be tricky for them because the Lancelot is on the other side.
Nice catch on the Few first blood drawn by Shin, and there's no counter go. That's gonna be the Rampaging Sandstorm. Lusty bites it. Flap TZ. He's a little too low. Oh, not even a trade. They do get one. It's Vin, but it's 3 on the side of RRQ Hoshi. 7.3 to 6.7. Oh, already a 500 gold lead.
That was the perfect timing for RRQ Hoshi to pick a fight. Why? Because Carl TZ's orange buff expired. He doesn't have the extra damage to help their side, and now Bren Esports have to bow out from that certain fight.
Yeah, and you gotta give it to Sin on his perfect position as well. He managed to get 2 kills out of that effort. And those pickoffs out there has been able to just deny a little bit more time before the rest of the Bren Esports side, of course, comes in with some big plays later on, but phantom execution and stuff like that being brought up. The Wanderer secured, but all eyes are still on Turtle once again, but something's happening down here.
Yeah, no, I think Rebo understands that he can rotate much faster than R7. So that means he doesn't have to miss a wave, and then he can be part of the team fight. Now, Turtle take going on here. Lusty looking for a target. He does have his Imperial Justice on cooldown. That's going to be called easy taking the first Turtle. Down goes Lusty. Vin gets him down. Oh, that's going to be another takedown. Few gets eliminated. 2 for none. Is it worth the Turtle?
What a pincer attack coming in from both sides. RRQ Hoshi, they just rushed right in and got Bren Esports members all caught out. And I definitely like what they are doing with the Kai, just having the Hurricane Dance in perfect position.
Now, team fight for Bren here is going to be really tough, but as long as they do not give as much turrets as possible, it's going to be great. Psycho will be the first target, and he will go down. Wiz King here is getting chased down, but Sin is there to help his ally, and that's going to be Flap. But Bren, they
Wait,
went for this.
It seems like Fuel will be bursted down, but it will be the order of burns being popped right in. Wiz King does get that double for that dive. Great exchange coming from RRQ. Kaltizi tries to take the buff away, and Finn, he tries to move right in first position, catching on towards Lusty, but Kaltizi, how far can he run with a mega kill coming from Wiz King?
That was a very risky play coming out from Bren Esports. Carl just wanted to take that purple buff from Sin, but RRQ Hoshi was on top of it.
Yeah, and definitely a great timing on that circling Eagle itself. Now 8-3, but the goal difference is not going to be too huge in the early phase of the game. 3 more seconds till the next objective. Well, I definitely see that right now. Members inside of Bren Esports, they're trying to pull the trigger on a very difficult position, and that definitely didn't pay any dividend at all.
Now, looking at it, this is the roster or lineup here for RRQ Hoshi that really has a much aggressive early game. They go for those turtles. When Bren Esports, they're kind of caught off guard here.
Yep, here we go. Blazing Duet by Sin. He gets out of there. Battle Mirror Image. Did he steal it? I think he did. Carl TZ is without his purple. And now the second turtle comes up. I think the fact that RRQ Hoshi is just more comfortable with just giving up the turtle to get beneficial trades is dangerous for Bren Esports.
Yeah, right now the turtle is going to be the main target for both of these teams. Bren Esports really want that. RRQ does not want to give that to them. Cycle with the Petrify. Oh my goodness. Lusty just goes down.
Not a good look for Lusty so far, and without that Imperial Justice, whether it be because it's on cooldown or whether it's because they catch him like that, not even blinking. Oh no, Flap DZ gets a barrage of bullets from Shin, and that's gonna be Vin putting the nail in the coffin for Flap TZ. It's looking tough for Bren Esports.
Yeah.
6 minutes, 45 seconds in. Doc Rebo tries to go for a push. That's gonna be R7 not able to save the turret. In comes Psycho.
And of course, Blood Oath already being popped up as they will be able to manage this pretty much safely. I don't really like the sort of exchange that they had back towards the Turtle Pit. And this is where things get a little bit rowdy with the rest of RQ. Hoshi moving right back in, chasing on towards Ripple as he tries to make an escape. But how long can he last? As you can see, R7 has already got members right behind him, and Sid might just actually get this one coming.
Now, Reba's just trying to scale at the bottom lane, but the problem is RRQ Hoshi just control the top lane, and now the next target for them is going to be this bottom lane. They want to get this before the 60 seconds passes, so that they can set up to the top lane and get the next objective there. A turtle probably? But RRQ Hoshi has their sights set on just controlling every single side of this map.
Oh, Lusty tries to put a bead on to R7, misses it. Phantom Execution still online. They're gonna use it for a dash. It's not enough. Sin finds you, and Flapteasy uses Black Dragon form to retreat. Lusty survives, but only for now, as well as Flapteasy. That's -1. Carl finally shut down here. No longer a thorn on the side of RRQ Hoshi. They push mid. That's going to be open. And Butters, as you were saying, it's a diversion play. And they just got a free turret along the way. It's a drive-through, right? They're giving Bren Esports so many problems, so that whenever RRQ Hoshi goes for an objective, there's just no answer, because they're trying to, you know, plug these holes in the sinking ship.
The playing prowess or the playmaking prowess of Psycho is just showing right here. The amount of pressure, the amount of worry that he puts on Bren Esports' shoulder, it's just too much to bear for them, and they break down the pressure to the early game.
Yeah, and you could definitely see that RQ's plan when they immediately lock in that clock, this is what they were hoping for in the best case of things, and they've already got 5 kills on towards this clock, and he's pretty much hard to catch in that sort of moment. Now, a little bit of setup here coming from Psycho as he's looking for a good one, and there we go.
This is going to be the choke. They're going for the purple, and look at the life bars melting at the feet of Sin. That's a double. They take one on the backswing, but what is R7 for 4 members of Bren Esports? What is R7? It is all worth it. The siege begins right here. They want to penetrate, not even 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and there's only a couple of all these members that will be coming up online in the form of Lusty as well as Flapteasy in a couple of seconds here. But they've already lost way too many towers, and I definitely think that RRQ Hoshi, they take too much control, all in the span of less than even 10 minutes. Let's check out the item, shall we? Butters, we've already seen a great build coming out of RRQ.
Now, if you would look at it, Sin here went for the brute force breastplate. That is going to be good defense against the Lancelot. Now, Lancelot isn't at the best position right now just because he has the Heptasis, but no Endless Battle, no Blade of Despair. And Queen's Wings for Flapteasy, he doesn't have the extra firepower, he doesn't have the skill vamp to just back up that tankiness that he has. Although for few, we're seeing a bit of progression here. Enchanted Talisman to the Necklace Durance. Vin getting a bit of a Durance as well, and at the same time, he does have that casual Dreadnought armor just to protect himself from Carl TZ.
So far what I'm seeing is Sin and Vin, say what you will about their names rhyming, but they both understand that they have to somehow go in. This is 2 heroes that usually don't have to go dive in, but oh, speaking of dives, that's going to be the Order of Brilliance popped in here by few just to survive. Rebo with the blood flow coming in, and here's a Black Dragon form. Flapteasy, he can smell blood, but I think RRQ Hoshi is setting something up from the left side. Whisking, I think he's looking for it. There's the Rampaging Sandstorm. Oh, they sense the Lord take. Can't TZ take it down here. Sin is now godlike. There's the Blazing Duet. Lusty's gonna be next. Whisking puts him in. Down under the ground, 6 feet, 2 for none, plus the Lord. RRQ Hoshi is ripe for the finish.
They fished him out, and with that, they initially went in by popping the Order of Brilliance, and Lunox already using the ultimate. They could not possibly go into cross anywhere near towards the Lord, but here comes RRQ. They've already got the Lord taken out, and they are going straight to finish up game number 1, but there's going to be a defense coming in from the side of Bren Esports. They tried to hold on. Rebo with the blood. Oh, he flickers away, but look at R7. He's chasing right in as well, but he will give his life for it. Bren Esports, they're slowly going down, and game 1 is in the hands of the Indonesian side, RRQ Hoshi.
And you saw how aggressive they were in terms of just getting that first turtle on their side. RRQ Hoshi, I think my thoughts were right. This is their early game lineup in terms of players.
Near flawless. It's like Whisking and Sin were playing all throughout day 1 and 2. this is what it looks like for RRQ.
I mean, honestly, they have been one of the more veteran players coming in for the side of RRQ for a large majority of the roster as well. They have been there for a while, and I think that makes a significant difference when it comes to just decision making and some of these more reliable picks that they've been pulling off time and time and again.
Yeah, I definitely think that it looks a lot more clear than what we saw coming in towards the upper bracket